Hello, everybody. Today we are expecting a low end severe weather outbreak in the southern plains from northern Missouri as far south as southern Iowa, all the way through southeast Kansas into central Oklahoma, and further down the line. Right now, the main threat is going to be large to very large hail and some damaging wind gusts, but there will be a tornado threat in place. But right now, we're looking at the HRRR model. I will make another forecast later today for the coming days, but right now this is only for the southern plains and the central and southern plains, really. But here we're looking at the jet stream. Still doesn't look very impressive, but right now the dry line is setting up to the west. So if we start moving this on, and the jet stream starts to set up later today into the overnight hours, storms will start to fire off from southeastern Kansas, and they'll kind of unzip down the line into western Oklahoma. And as the jet stream continues going east, it does become a little bit stronger and stronger as it goes by. But as the storms pass central and eastern Oklahoma, they'll become more of a slight bit more of a cluster. I'll get to that here in a second. But we could see that jet stream start to become very negative, negatively tilted without a doubt. There will be a lot of moisture. Now let's go and look at temperatures. Temperatures as of now are in the upper 60s to low to mid 70s across the concern area. And as time goes by, we can see that cold front and warm front setting up here, and the dry line will set up out here in western Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle. As this goes by, we can see that cold front surging southward right here. There's that strong cold front, and as that crosses down, temperatures behind it will quickly plummet from the 60s down to the 50s. This is why that tornado threat will also exist, because even in the overnight hours, we will have very warm temperatures. But as that cold front goes by, we'll have 50s and 40s behind it in Oklahoma, Kansas, western Missouri. Now let's go over to dew points. Right now, as of now, we have a very interesting moisture return here. We're already in the low 60s in central to eastern Oklahoma and maybe far southeastern Kansas and Missouri. But throughout the day, this moisture return will get stronger as that. Oops. There we go. And as that dry line sets up out west, it'll become sharp. But watch later this afternoon and evening. Here's that cold front extending downwards later tonight into the overnight hours. That warm front continuing to extend all the way up here. And there is some 60 dew points there in Iowa, which is going to help fuel some storms up there as well. That's just going to break out right down the line. But we'll have low 60 dew points, 70-degree temperatures. It's pretty good for some tornado genesis as well, and some strong supercells. But as that cold front does eventually go by, and the dry line extends to the east, and the storm system overall starts to move east into the Midwest and deep south. Let's go to severe weather for here in a minute. Let's go and take a peek at mixed layer CAPE or instability. We already have some instability in some spots up to 1,000 joules per kilogram, but as that moisture returns and we see more heat, peak day heating later this afternoon and evening, watch the CAPE just explode. The instability just go up and up and up to 2,000 to maybe locally 3,000 joules per kilogram. That's enough to get tennis balls and baseball size hail from supercells. There's plenty of instability for these storms to thrive on. And as that cold front goes by with the dry line, that CAPE will lower and shift off to the east into Arkansas, Missouri, and northeast Texas. If we go over to the significant tornado parameter, I do want to look at this. And as the time goes by for this late afternoon, evening hours, we see that tornado parameter go up quite a bit actually here in central Oklahoma. And there's a 4.7 right there out of 8. I believe 8.5. No, it's 9. But just look at how high that tornado parameter does get there in central Oklahoma. Now, this isn't going to be set in stone. Parameters like this shouldn't be too terribly reliable, but they still do give us a good look. Here is the storm relative helicity in the atmosphere. This just kind of shows us where the most likely some of the most favorable shear is, I believe. Watch the storm helicity. This storm relative helicity go up there in southwestern Oklahoma, western Oklahoma. So watch that shear going up as well. That will become favorable for maybe a few tornadoes as well. Let's go and updraft helicity as well. Run to run maximum. And as we go by, now this shouldn't be set 100% set in stone either, but with these updraft helicities, they give us a good clue on where the most probably the strongest updrafts are going to be. And according to this model, the HRR model, it should be from west central up to northern Oklahoma. But again, this I don't think this should necessarily be completely set in stone. Now let's go over to composite reflectivity. Now we have some like showers and rain, probably a mixture of snow up here in Nebraska and South Dakota. As the day goes by and that low pressure system continues moving eastward, we start to see some storms start to form there near the Oklahoma-Kansas border. And as time goes by, storms just erupt in eastern Texas and northern Oklahoma. And as time goes by, the dry line starts firing off more cells there in west central Oklahoma. And as even more time goes by, I do think we will see a bit more development there in southwestern Oklahoma, and they'll converge into a cluster. But right now, this model is bringing storms further south. But I do think that they'll all fire out here in more southwestern Oklahoma, northwest, and just converge there. This model does disagree with that, but that is always a possibility. But as time goes by, there will be massive hail out here in western Oklahoma to central Oklahoma, where the cells should remain a bit more isolated in nature. But as these storms go by, they do seem to be particularly the strongest there in northeastern Oklahoma and southeastern Kansas. But as the storms go by, we might see some extra convergence behind it. But as these storms continue off to the east, they should slowly weaken out and eventually die. Now, I will be keeping a very close eye on these storms, and I will be live later tonight tracking these storms. There will either be a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch. In my opinion, it will more likely be a severe thunderstorm watch. We'll just have to wait and see. Let's go over to the Storm Prediction Center. Here is their outlook for tonight. They have a level 2 slight risk ranging from central Missouri through southeastern Kansas into northern and central Oklahoma, and that does extend out to western Oklahoma. And that includes that area: Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Norman, Wichita, and Springfield, Jefferson City, almost Kansas City. And further to the south, there's another slight risk from there in northern Texas. The Dallas area and east of Abilene, mostly a hail risk. Let's go look at the tornado risk. We have two areas of tornado risk. We have this 2% risk ranging from far eastern Texas through southern Louisiana into southern Mississippi. There's that small tornado risk that is for throughout the day, but we have this risk we're talking about from far southern Iowa through central western Missouri, southeastern Kansas, into northern and central Oklahoma. That does extend a little bit down to southwest Oklahoma as well. The main concern is this 5% risk here in central and northeastern Oklahoma. Norman, Oklahoma City, and Tulsa will be the main concern for today. That will be the target area, the concern area. And I do think we can have a couple of tornadoes today in that area. And wind risk, we have a 15% risk ranging from central Oklahoma to northeastern Oklahoma, southeast Kansas, and western and central Missouri, where we are expecting 60 to possibly 70 mile per hour wind gusts. And outside of that, 60%, and at 5% risk, we have 60 mile per hour winds ranging from southwest or let's call it Central Texas, through northern Texas, southern Oklahoma, good chunk of Iowa, central to southern Iowa, and some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts there in uh, southern Louisiana and southern Mississippi. Now, the hail risk is what's going to be probably one of the main concerns. We have two areas where we can see golf ball to baseball size hail. This is going to be from western to central Oklahoma up to north, and most of the hail should remain in Oklahoma. As you can kind of see there in that hatched area, and but outside of that area, in that 15 unhatched area, we can have up to golf ball size hail, and in that 5% risk quarters. But we do have this other 15% hatched area here in central and northern Texas, where we can see golf balls to tennis, if not up to baseball size hail. This will be watched very closely. The timing will be more overnight, and either later this afternoon or tomorrow morning, I will make a forecast for this massive storm system and beyond, because we have multiple different storm systems that need to be watched closely. This is all one big system from the central southern plains into the Midwest and deep south and the far eastern coast. But we have so many more storms to go over. It's going to be a very active April. We have this area up here in northeast Kansas into northern Missouri, southern Iowa, and southeastern Nebraska. And then we have this big area from eastern Oklahoma, northeast Texas, all the way throughout the Midwest. This area is going to be particularly active in early April, but I do think some of that tornado activity will extend more westward throughout the rest of April. After that, we should expect a little bit of a downtrend in severe activity. Let's hope that is true. If you guys enjoyed this forecast, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.